They were served a bowl of worms, as food was scarce in Vietnam due to war. But this man doesn't mind eating the worms since they need energy to survive. Previously, the man talks friendly to the little guard and borrows some toothpaste to distract him while stealing the nail from a beam. Later at the shack, the man uses some rocks to modify the pointy end of the nail that they uses to unlock their handcuffs at night. One morning they hear helicopters flying by, but the guards shoot at the ground as a warning to keep them quiet. After the guards leave, a fellow prisoner has a breakdown, and the man calms him and promises they'll be gone soon. One day, one prisoner overhears a conversation between some of the guards. Since the prisoner can speak their local language, he is able to translate and discovers that the guards plan to kill them and make it look like they attempted to escape. Apparently the guards were tired as well due to the lack of food and want to finally go back to their own villages. The next morning, the prisoners start their escape plan. They'll be separated into 2 groups, and each group will head out in separate directions to meet up at the same time in the kitchen in order to conquer the guards. The man heads out first and quickly collects the rifles the guards left behind, then he brings them back to the group. Once everybody is armed, they divide into 2 groups, but when the duo arrive at the kitchen, they are the only ones there. Disappointed, they immediately shoot at the guards, killing all of them except the little guard, who the man allows to go away. They then steal food and run away from the camp. Eventually they bump into the other 2 prisoners who didn't follow the plan. The man was disappointed and exchanges some ammo for the prisoner's machete before the 2 groups leave in opposite directions. Afterward they escape into the jungle to try to find freedom by way of Thailand. As the rainy season begins, they are able to survive with water and their rice. Unfortunately, when they stop for a lunch break, a mudslide surprises them from behind and drags them down the hill, making them lose their food. After they finally make it to the river, they make a raft using bamboos. At first they float safely while hiding under leaves, but unfortunately they're heading in the direction of the rapid water that descend into a waterfall. They swim toward the shore just in time, leaving the raft to fall and be destroyed. One afternoon they discover a bunch of liches under their clothes and they painfully remove them one by one from their body. Sometime later, they seize a man fishing nearby, but shooting could get the attention of soldiers, so they quietly wait for the man to leave instead. This makes them realize they're carrying weapons for nothing, so they throw them into the river to get rid of the extra weight. After lots of walking, the duo finds an abandoned village and stops there to rest. At that moment, a few US helicopters fly by, but no matter how much the man waves and yells, they don't see him and go away. His fellow prisoner is starting to lose his mind, so the man tells him to rest while he starts a fire using the technique he learned from the locals in order to create a smoke signal for the helicopters. Unfortunately, the Americans mistake them for enemies and fire at them instead, so the man has to run to avoid death. Since the locals probably saw the smoke too, the duo decide to leave before they're found. His fellow prisoner was too weak and the man has to help him move around. Then a boy passed them, so they beg him for food, but the boy doesn't care. Suddenly the local villagers arrive and see them, so they decide to surrender. They show they mean no harm and beg for food, however the villagers aren't happy to see them and immediately kill his fellow prisoner. Furious, the man takes out his machete and waves it around in a crazy manner, so the villagers back away in fear. He then runs away, but the villagers are coming after him, so he decides to hide in the bushes. As days pass, exhaustion and starvation begin driving him crazy, and he begins hallucinating that his fellow prisoner's ghost is with him. The man stays close to the riverbank, and whenever he sees locals, he waits for them to leave and then grabs any food left behind. At one point he even captures a snake to eat it raw just to survive. One morning, a US scout plane flies by, and the man waves a huge leaf. The plane at first seems to ignore him, but finally the 2 helicopters arrive and rescue him.